Mr. President, China voted against the draft resolution that has just been put to the vote. And I would like to explain China's vote and relevant considerations as follows. More than 160 days have passed since the outbreak of the Gaza conflict. In the face of a human tragedy in which more than 32,000 innocent civilians have lost their lives and millions are suffering from famine, the most urgent action to be taken by the Council is to promote an immediate, unconditional, and sustained ceasefire.
To promote immediate, unconditional, and sustained ceasefire. This is your favorite half Chinese. We are watching the reason why China vetoed against America's resolution. Russia and Algeria similarly are against the US, its proposal, and the reason will become clear soon, so bear with me. But to promote immediate, unconditional, and sustained ceasefire are the actual keywords which will explain it all later in the video. As the US draft is not unconditional, and that is what it's all about. But I will explain later, but you probably will figure it out yourself.
This is the universal call of the international community.
So, for one, it's what the international community wants. That's also very important. China is thinking about it, Russia is thinking about it, and Algeria is thinking about those kind of things too. We are not alone here, but that's not all, so bear with me.
The decision taken by the emergency special session of the General Assembly a few months ago and a solemn appeal by the Secretary General of the UN to the Council while invoking Article 99 of the Charter. The Council has dragged its feet and wasted too much time in this regard. We all recall that the US introduced its own draft resolution after vetoing on February the 20th the overwhelming consensus among Council members on an immediate ceasefire.
That is also very important to understand. Why did they veto the other resolutions? Why did the US not just agree if they are sincere with a ceasefire? Keep that in mind.
Over the past month, the draft has undergone several iterations and contains elements that respond to the concerns of the international community, but it has always evaded and dodged the most central issue, that of a ceasefire.
And dodged the most central issue of a ceasefire. So what is it that the US really wants if it is dodging the most central issue? Are they sincere? Or do they want something else? Just pause the video and let me know in the comment section what you think it is.
The final text remains ambiguous and does not call for an immediate ceasefire, nor does it even provide an answer to the question of realizing a ceasefire in the short term.
Exactly, the preconditions are more like a trap to continue what they are doing. And there are many ways to continue and to maintain the status quo. And that is exactly what we do not want, as the entire world is speaking out on it. It is the exact opposite what we want. And therefore, again, they don't agree. So for the ones that really still don't understand it, what if the age group would say, we're not going to release the gas that we have? Then what? Then the whole world agreed upon that what the other party is doing is okay to continue to do. And that is exactly why nobody can agree with that, because this is what I would call a trap.
This is a clear deviation from the consensus of the Council members and fell far short of the expectations of the international community. An immediate ceasefire is a fundamental prerequisite for saving lives, expanding humanitarian access, and preventing greater conflicts.
Exactly, you need first an immediate ceasefire. It cannot wait. For the reasons that were told just now. Why would you be okay with a ceasefire that may or may not ever be realized? That's not a ceasefire if you ask me. But soon you will understand why they are doing this.
The US draft, on the contrary, sets up preconditions for a ceasefire, which is no different from giving a green light to continued killings, which is unacceptable.
Exactly, the preconditions are more like a trap to continue what they are doing, and there are many ways to continue and to maintain the status quo. And that is exactly what we do not want, as the entire world is speaking out on it. It is the exact opposite what we want, and therefore, again, they don't agree. So for the ones that really still don't understand it, what if the age group would say, we're not going to release the gas that we have? Then what? Then the whole world agreed upon that what the other party is doing is okay to continue to do. And that is exactly why nobody can agree with that. because this is what I would call a trap.
The draft is also very unbalanced in many other aspects, in particular with regard to Israel's recent and repeated declarations of plans for a military offensive on Rafah. The draft does not clearly and unequivocally state its opposition, which would send an utterly wrong signal and lead to severe consequences. Any action taken by the Security Council should stand the test of history and the scrutiny of morality and conscience. With a view to safeguarding truth and justice, safeguarding the UN Charter, its purposes and principles, and safeguarding the dignity of the Council, and also based on the concerns and strong opposition from the Arab states. With this draft resolution, China, together with Algeria and Russia, have voted against the draft resolution. Mr. President, members of the Council have now before them another draft resolution that was the result of collective consultations among elective members of the Council. This draft is clear on the issue of a ceasefire and is in line with the correct direction of the Council's action and is of great relevance. China supports this draft. We hope that the members of the Council will reach agreement on this basis as soon as possible and send a clear signal calling for an immediate ceasefire and on the end of the fightings. Like other members, China has, from the outset, called for the immediate release of all hostages, a demand repeatedly reiterated in the Security Council resolutions 2712 and 2720. We welcome the mediation efforts by Egypt, Qatar, and others to this end, and we hope that all detainees will be released at an early date. China rejects the accusations by the US and the UK against China's voting position. They are groundless accusations. If the US were serious about ceasefire, it wouldn't have vetoed time and again multiple council resolutions.
And that is a really, really good point. If they were really sincere, they would have signed the other previous resolutions already. And that gives you something to think about.
It wouldn't have taken such a detour and played game of words while being ambiguous and evasive on critical issues. If the US is serious about a ceasefire, then please vote in favor of the other draft resolution clearly calling for a ceasefire, so that a ceasefire can be finally and immediately achieved. The Palestinians, their sufferings can be alleviated and ended, and hostages be released without delay at an early date. For the US, at the current stage, what is most important is not words, but their deeds, their actions. No matter what, China will continue to work with Council members and the international community to play a responsible and constructive role in order to achieve ceasefire and put an end to the war, implement the two-state solution, alleviate the suffering of the catastrophe, and promote a comprehensive, just, and lasting solution to the question of Palestine. Thank you, Mr. President.
So there you have it, the reason, the whole thing. As promised, let me know what you think of it in the comment section, but please keep it respectful. We are not uncivilized barbarians, unlike some others. Anyways, please leave it a like, share, and if you have not yet, then follow. This was your favorite half Chinese, and as always, have a great day.